How's it going, guys? Welcome to the Lemonardi. I'm Dinny, and we're back again with another episode of the Beginner's Guide. So, I'm really liking this game. I was thinking a lot about it when I was making my second cup of tea to help soothe my throat. I'm sorry. This is kind of like what I expected the Stanley Parable to be, to invoke maybe a little bit more thought. Like with Stanley Parable, it wasn't really telling you how to think. You had to sort of think for yourself. And I obviously wasn't too good at thinking. So yeah, I'm dying to get back into this. I think it's really interesting.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Okay, well, this is not my idea of a dream penthouse room, but we'll go with it. This actually looks really good for Source. I like the little circles, sorry. Yeah, anyway. It looks really good. I love the texture and stuff. It's nice, yeah. For what, 2009, this guy had a very contemporary view of the world.
This is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
What furniture ought to go in the center of the room? Oh, okay. Oh. In the center of the room. Put a giant hole. That's not what I asked for. Ew. Ten stoves lined up against the wall. Yeah, let's do that. Skylight, yes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. No, my choice.
There's a bit more to this one, but still it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
You don't say.
So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Now, turn the floor lamp off in this room. Then, turn it back on. Now go to the left side sofa, move it over a little bit. Finally touch the shelves. To be taken back to your prison.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape.
Oh, I see.
Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this, to see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on?
Yeah.
But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going. And then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Spoilers! This is completely different. Oh god. What have I done? Hello? I'm you from after you escaped the prison.
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
How did he happen upon this from having such a physical setting to something like this? Let's do like some sort of Inception thing. Let's go with the first one.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice? So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
Wow.
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
I like the house. And nice and cozy. Three miles. Very nice.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous
So
games,
shit here it is.
including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Run to the bedroom and make the bed. Nice. Got a good detail with the pillows. Is this like himself talking to himself, as in, like, he's cleaning up his artwork and trying to make it more presentable and stuff? Let's read the pillows. Get on with it, man. Oh, okay. How about you do something? Floor of the bedroom. Wow.
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful. I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it.
Oh.
This was during a period of a few months where he was, like, grossly happy all the time. Just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Just fobbing it off. Right. You know, we should get paid for this. I like the music.
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
For a short time, as it seems. Question.
But, of course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Really? Are we gonna die? Oh, and there's that bloody lamp pole again.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
Okay, so...
This one gets a bit goofy.
Don't say. There's no one else here. Perfect. I'm already perfect, man. Oh. What do you think? Okay. Perfection is within your grasp. Oh, with front row seats now. It's really...
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts. and you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Huh? Can I pick two? I'm developing assist. Does anyone Holy shit. This is what happens when you take ecstasy, kids.
For this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
Game. What is a game?
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one.
Wow.
That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Oh, shit sticks! Fuck me. Oh god, I hate talent shows. I was never good at these things. Mary had a little... first you start out leaning against this wall. Good, stay right there. In the chair. It's your dream to photograph. This is your chance to learn something from it, to gain, to succeed, okay? Wise. Hello. That's it? It's not a conversation. Oh, well, I don't know. Be a human. Do it again. Here we go. Here are all my hopes and dreams. Did it. No. These cones that bounce when you touch them will represent the people nearby. Whee! I'm having way too much fun with this. I feel like a human pinball machine. There we go, that'll do it again. Oh, what? Well, I can't win with you, can I? Try stepping back from the stage. Whoa! There's a bloody lamp again. Do we go towards that, or do we go... I don't like it. Oh!
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating.
Yeah.
He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
I feel like Coda is movie stripped. You must keep your eyes closed. What do you want me to do? This is stupid. Help, I'm blind. Yeah, like...
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Your way to stop is to speak something that is honest. Oh. Is he like trying to put himself down? Kind of reminds me of Star Trek a bit.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So
Yeah.
where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
Yeah, all of this sort of marks like someone that, yeah, is going through some shit. I like that last line though. It's just like, don't worry about it, man. We're gonna get through this.
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
What? Sounds like me, just like lacking all sense of motivation. Do I have a cat down here? Where am I now? Whoa! This is nice. Am I talking to a tree? Oh, I am kind of lost. Where? Where's this machine? I like the sound of the beach. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
Clever. I pressed 3. Ooh, this is nice.
Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Now you have to open.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
You have to say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say the game development is simple and joyous, and that you love it 100%. Oh.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
Wow.
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
And we'll find out what that is in the next episode. Like, favorite, and subscribe, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one. You take care now. Bye. This reminds me of Lord of the Rings now. God. You shall not pass. I think that's what Coda wanted, man. Let it go.